Hey, my name is Emily, and I don't believe a fucking single thing that my government says. Like, for example, here in America, they're now claiming that Iran went and put mines at the bottom of the Hormuz Strait. And, like, I just want a video of it. I want a video of them doing it and saying, like, I am doing this for Iran. And then I might believe it.
The United States just lost a war it didn't even know it was fighting. While Washington celebrates military victories and economic growth numbers, the real battlefield has shifted to something much more dangerous. The war for the global payment system. This week, something unprecedented happened in the shadows of international finance. Brazil quietly activated the BRICS bridge system. And for the first time in 80 years, major economies completed cross-border transactions without touching a single U.S. bank. The American media is not reporting this story, but I can tell you, as someone who spent decades inside the system, this is not just another trade deal. This is the financial equivalent of splitting the atom, and the explosion is coming. You see, the United States has enjoyed what we call monetary imperialism for nearly a century. Every time you buy oil, coffee, or electronics anywhere in the world, those transactions flow through New York banks. Washington collects a tax on every trade, every investment, every breath of the global economy. But that monopoly just ended, and most people don't even realize it happened. My name is Paulo Nogueira Batista Jr. I served as executive director at the International Monetary Fund. I sat across the table from finance ministers of collapsing nations. I know how empires fall. They don't collapse from outside invasions. They collapse when their money stops working. And the American money is about to stop working. Let me explain what happened this week in Brazil. President Lula signed an executive order that sounds boring to most people, but this order just declared independence from the US financial system. Brazil can now trade directly with Russia, China, India, and South Africa using our own central bank digital currencies. No dollars, no SWIFT system, no permission from Washington. Think about what this means. When Brazil sells soybeans to China, we no longer convert our reais to dollars first. We settle the trade instantly using blockchain technology backed by our central banks. The transaction is faster, cheaper, and completely invisible to US regulators. For 50 years, America's greatest weapon was not their military, it was SWIFT.
في عشرات الجنود والضباط قتلى من المارينز. أنا أول امبارح حكي معي أحد الأطباء الكويتيين بمستشفى كويتي. أول امبارح بالليل وصل 20 جندي أمريكي وضابط بين قتيل وجريح في مستشفى واحد بالكويت. مستشفى واحد بس فيه 20.
ولأين سقطوا؟
أول امبارح سقطوا في الكويت في القواعد العسكرية. بعتقد قاعدة سالم الشهيرة. وبالتالي الإيرانيين لاحقوا حتى الضباط والعسكريين انتقلوا إلى الشقق وانتقلوا إلى الشقق المدنية والفنادق، لحقوهم بالمسيرات والصواريخ. اليوم تم ضرب كل 14 قاعدة عسكرية أمريكية في دول الخليج، وتم قصف الأماكن الحيوية، المواقع الحيوية اللي عم يستخدموها الأمريكية في دول الخليج. وطبعا إسرائيل عشرات الصواريخ البالستية تساقطت، ونحن شفنا على اليوتيوب عم تحترق وتدمر أحياء كاملة بتل أبيب وبحيفا وبمناطق عديدة.
I think it's just media manipulation. The other thing that to remember is that these regimes in the GCC, right, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, they're all co-opted by the Israelis. They're all working together. They're all like colonies of the Israelis.
What about Saudi? I was talking to Nick Fuentes the other day, and he said that Saudi has separated from being the Israeli ally that they were several years ago. Is this true?
No, it's all theater. So if you look at the history of the Middle East, okay, it was created by the British Empire, right? So the House of Saud was installed as a puppet regime by the British Empire. And so then the question is like, who is the House of Saud? And if you actually go into some of the history, okay, so this is 2003, the Americans go into Baghdad and they capture all the state systems of the Iraqi regime, okay? And when they go over the files of the Iraqi intelligence agency, the Iraqis were actually convinced that the House of Saud were crypto Jews. That these people, the House of Saud, these were crypto Jews. They were Sabbatean Frankists, okay? Yeah. So this goes back to Sabbath Zevi. 1666, he declares he's a Messiah. And then he is threatened by the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, saying that, either your head or the turban. Okay, you either convert to Islam or I will take your head. And Sabbath Zevi converts. And then 300 families called the Dome. It's called turncoat in the language.
Turks.
But they convert with it, the Turks, okay? And the Dome are important because the Dome then aligned with the British Empire to overthrow the Ottoman Empire. And the Dome are the ones who are responsible for the Young Turk movement, for Ataturk, okay? But not only that, but the Dome then spread around the region, and they also become the House of Saud. Okay, so that's the origin of these families in the Middle East.
Right. At the heart and the head of the American economy is the President of the United States. You've argued that Trump is not the most powerful person in America, and you've inferred that actually the real power base is Israel. Explain that.
Right. So I actually don't say the real power base is Israel. What I say is that the real power base are a collection of secret societies that have an eschatological view of this war. And these secret societies include the Freemasons, which are now called the Rosicrucians and the Knights Templars. They include Jewish organizations called the Sabbatean Frankists, who are embedded in religious movements called Shabbat Lubavitch. And then you have the Jesuits. You have a collection of secret societies. And they believe that a war in the Middle East would start a process that would culminate in the end times and the return of Jesus, the arrival of the Jewish Messiah, the building of a one world government. They have different eschatologies, but a lot of their time frames do align. So where they converge is that there has to be a war in the Middle East to kick things off. This war in the Middle East will lead to the defeat of the American Empire, and this will lead to the culmination of the Greater Israel Project, where Israel is able to control the Middle East from the Nile to the Euphrates. Once the Greater Israel Project is in place, it will transform into the Pax Judaica, which is an AI surveillance state. This will eventually lead to the war of Gog and Magog, the destruction of the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the building of the Third Temple, the return of the Jewish diaspora to Jerusalem, and the arrival of the Jewish Messiah or the Antichrist. So they have the scripted out. And unfortunately, a lot of world events are conforming to this script.
Our neighbors must understand one more thing about us. We are not going anywhere. The real intelligence report on Israel's intentions is found in the book of Genesis. And I will give you and your descendants after you the land of Canaan for an everlasting possession.
Why are we there? I mean, we could be in, I don't know, Sweden, in Nepal or someplace. No, we can't be. We have to be there in the land of Israel, in the land of the Bible, in the land of our ancestors, and in the land that the prophet said, after the destruction of our temples, you shall come back.
We are here to stay. Our story did not end in the Bible. It began there.
It's a land that God gave through Abraham to a people that he chose.
My desk is the Middle East. And this pen, the top of the pen, that's Israel. That's not good.
What does that mean? Does Israel have the right to that land? Because you're appealing to Genesis. You're saying that's the original deed.
It would be fine if they took it all.
Crazy regimes like Iran, hell-bent on prophetic Islamist delusions, cannot have nuclear weapons.
The idea we're dealing with the most vicious regime on the planet who desires to destroy the state of Israel. If Iran falls and the Ayatollah falls, the largest spot of terrorism in the Middle East is no more. There's no help for Hezbollah, Hamas. What we're facing right now is a moment of decision that will set the course of the future of the Mideast for 1,000 years.
It will be the golden age of Israel and the golden age of the Middle East.
May God bless America, may God bless Israel, and may God bless the covenant between our two promised lands.
This is a religious war.
If it was up to me, the last time when they shot hundreds of missiles, I would pretend that one missile came from Iran and shoot it down. You know, then all the Arabs will go against Iran and it will be the end of the problems. You make them fight with each other, this bunch of lunatics. Never too late. You deal with a bunch of cowards.
This is from August of 2024 from an Israeli rabbi, Joseph Misrach, describing how Israel should take advantage of a then ongoing conflict with Iran, much less intense than the current conflict we're seeing with Iran, to destroy the Dome of the Rock in Al-Aqsa. Shoot it down into the Dome of the Rock in Al-Aqsa. Destroy what's on what the Israelis call the Temple Mount, on the foundation stone. Destroy it and blame the Iranians. Is it beyond imagination that in the fog of war, maybe one of those missiles hits the Dome of the Rock, or we're told that it did? The Al-Aqsa complex is just vaporized. Oops, the Iranians did it. Then we have this debate. It's like a hospital bombing in Gaza. Who did it? Well, it was a booster from a Hamas rocket. Well, how do I know? I wasn't there. All we know is it's gone. Oh, so sorry. Could that happen? Oh, yeah, it could happen. And what happens then? Global religious war.
אנחנו כאן בשליחות של דורות. אז אתה שואל אם אני מרגיש שאני בשליחות היסטורית ורוחנית, התשובה היא כן.
لا يخفون بل يعلنون أن الحرب الدائرة ليست أمنية.
It would be fine if they took it all.
My desk is the Middle East. And this pen, the top of the pen, that's Israel. That's not good, right? You know.
I believe we're going to take Mecca, Medina, and Mount Sinai and purify those places.
يا جماعة الناس دي عندها كتب. عنوان الكتاب اسمه العودة إلى مكة.
حتى الأسماء التي أطلقت على العمليات العسكرية ضد إيران ليست عادية. سفر التكوين للأسراب الجوية الإسرائيلية، أي السفر الأول في التوراة، أي في البدء، ويروي قصة الخلق، العهد مع إبراهيم، ووعد الله المزعوم بأرض الميعاد لنسله. اسم زئير الأسد على الهجوم العسكري لأن الأسد يرتبط في التوراة العبري بأحد الأسباط اليهودية، والتاريخ أيضا غير بريء. اختاروا يوم السبت لاستهداف إيران واغتيال مرشدها الأعلى، وهو اليوم الذي يسبق عيد بورين، يعرف في التقليد اليهودي بسبت زاخور، حيث يتلى في الكنس مقطع من العهد القديم يدعو إلى تذكر هجوم العماليق على بني إسرائيل ومحو ذكراهم، والعماليق عندهم اليوم هم العرب والمسلمون.
הציונות מבוססת על התנ"ך, המנדט שלנו על ארץ ישראל הוא תנ"כי, גבולות ארץ ישראל התנ"כיים הם ברורים. יש גם שיקולים של ביטחון ושל מדיניות.
הריבונות של ישראל מתחילה בים ונגמרת בנהר. בשלב הזה או שבעצם אנחנו גם יוצאים את עבר הירדן? בשלב הבא. בסדר, לאט לאט.
אתה יושב פה חיים שלי, יהיה לך קר פה, בוא נלך את הביתה. אח שלי יקר, הביתה אבא שלי, באנו ביחד לארץ. אוהב את כולם لا حول الله بعدك شب ترى والله حزنت عليك.
الشباب العادي بروق ابيب ليش لما ربنا شويه خير سوا شو من حباب ايش اذا واقفوا اقول له اصحاب خبر من محبات
للكم قله متعصب قله.
عم فادي انا ماشي هسه سنت لك فوق هاي البنيان وهذا البنيان وفي اخرى 5 6 بنيانين. طلع والله بتقدر تكيم 6 كيمو راح يلا كله عجم كني ضمت.
واو بباتي زيكو بباتي زيكوك اخي. مام تعالي خديني يا مام تعالي خديني يا مام انا بعيط يا مام.
I've just arrived at an impact site where an Iranian missile hit earlier today, and you can see a massive crater right there behind me. And rescue workers still searching for people possibly missing under the rubble, and you can get an idea of how massive that blast must have been. If you look up there, this was a car that was propelled up there. This was by far the most significant impact today since Iran began retaliating.
זה מטורף מה שקורה פה. כל האוטובוסים נדלקים. לא מבינים מה קורה פה, חבר'ה.
של הדלק. הנה הולך לעלות לך שלישית. מה רמת הפציעות? אוקיי. אלה שהיו
This is the crater an Iranian ballistic missile leaves, and here is the damage it causes. This is an older building and it didn't have safe rooms in it, so residents needed to go to nearby community shelters. It's understood the woman that was killed here was a carer for an elderly woman, and she just didn't make it into a safe room in time. For those who did make it to the bunker, it was a terrifying experience.
We were underground, like 2 flights underground. It was a huge sound of bomb. Actually, the whole basement shook. The lights turned off.
Israeli politicians telling the public that the price being paid now will be worth it in the long run.
Stay strong. This is a historic effort to change the trajectory in the Middle East to a different future, a future of peace.
So Dante is a Marine Corps reservist. Dante, thank you for your service. Yeah! He asked me to sign his Kevlar helmet, and I said, what I'm going to sign on this helmet, the Department of War, the Pentagon, the bureaucrats may not like, but every American would agree with, no matter your political affiliation. And what I wrote on his helmet is this: no American should die for Israel. Yeah!